Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of October 2025. I am Langton Nganaga, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. President Chamisa confirms he has not left politics. Mulilo demands action against corruption and fair budget for women. Water meters another conduit for Gananda to loot, says human rights defender. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. The Citizens President Advocate Nelson Chamisa released an audio message confirming his earlier social media statement dismissing rumors that he had quit politics. In the message, Advocate Nelson Chamisa urged citizens to remain united and vigilant, emphasizing that any official communication from him would be shared through proper channels, not through ZANU-PF-driven propaganda circulating on social media. Let's hear his message.
I dismiss all these rumors, sideshows, lies, propaganda, and falsehoods. These are being circulated and peddled by those in our opposition, particularly those in ZANU-PF and their sidekicks. I have no doubt in my mind that they are so scared. They have been so scared and they continue to be so scared. Yes, if there's any information we want to communicate to the people of Zimbabwe, we'll communicate. We don't just communicate everything. Information is such a strategic resource that has to be shared strategically and not recklessly. So when we need to say something, we'll say it. People of Zimbabwe must remain united. People of Zimbabwe must stay focused. Yes, the hardships are hard. The challenges are many. The circumstances are almost untenable. I know how difficult life is, but you must always know that the toughest moment is before dawn. It's hardest when it is about to be a breakthrough. I want to say to Zimbabweans, stay focused, remain vigilant, and steadfast. Kuzalunga, we'll make it. Kuzangoba, sizangoba ndawonye. Ngiyabonga.
Senior opposition official Stabile Mulilo has urged the government to be more gender sensitive and increase funding for the women's ministry, which received only 1% of the national budget. Speaking at the 2026 budget consultations held at Sherborne Hotel in Bulawayo, she also called for adequate allocations to health and education in line with international commitments and demanded an end to corruption exposed by the Auditor General's report. Let's hear her speaking.
Number one, what I'm thinking is already Honorable Zia has talked about the social services, which is health and education, which is very important. But when I just see Zimbabwe as a country, you will find that we actually signed the Abuja declaration and the Dakar declaration, in which 15% is supposed to be going to health on the Abuja declaration and 20% is supposed to be going to education on the Dakar declaration. So really we don't have to be coming around again and talking about this. We expect you as Parliament to actually make sure that that 15% and that 20% is actually met, because what people have been talking here is really important when you listen. Education and health is really affecting us as people, especially here in Matabele and in Bulawayo also. And then I come to my point, which is point number 2. You will find that when these budgets are being allocated, I was just looking at last year's budget, you'll find that 1% was given to women, to the Ministry of Women, which is not really gender responsive. Because how can you just give 1% to the Ministry of Women, while we've got more than 58% women here in Zimbabwe? Where is the other money going to? You'll find that they are allocating these big budgets to the Ministry of Security as if we're in a war. They are allocating these big budgets to Ministry of Mines. And when you look at this, most men are involved in those in those mines and everything, and women were nowhere to be found. It's just like how we are treated there. I can only see one woman, and I'm very disappointed. That the whole of Parliament, are you telling me that we only have got one woman who can come and represent us here? I'm really disappointed there. And then we come to our own civil servants. Really, they are living. It's not like they are living below the poverty line, which is not really fair, because they are drained. And most of them, they are fighting to go maybe to Canada, to go where, because we cannot even survive here in Zimbabwe. So please, as Parliament, can you look at that also and try to actually revive them also? Maybe give them some, cushion them with something which is actually better. You guys are driving big cars. Let them also have something for them to actually survive. And my last point, when I look at the budget of Zimbabwe, looking at 2026, what I would actually expect, that when we need to actually have our income coming in, you need to be accountable. You need to trust also, maybe even from the investors. So maybe can we have the office of the Attorney General and the Auditors General, and then the office also of the please let them be capacitated, let them be given power, so that when I am paid, suddenly you are corrupt, I am corrupt, I should go and face the law. Not that, because when I face the law, then it will give also power. The investors will feel, no, in Zimbabwe, these people, you know what they want. They actually say, the things that they actually talk about, they actually practice it. Than to say, when I'm being said I'm corrupt just because I'm connected to you, honorable, then I will not go and face the law. That is not fair. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Siawonga. Yes.
Prominent human rights defender Obet Masaraure has condemned the local government ministry and the Harare City Council for proceeding with their plans to install prepaid water meters in Harare. Masaraure told Citizen Movement Radio that the issue of prepaid water meters is another corruption scandal by cartels linked to Emerson Mnangagwa, Zviganandas, to milk citizens who are already suffering. Bulawayo Mayor and former cabinet minister David Coltart has said the Chinese are raping our country through their unsustainable mining activities, including on protected areas. Reacting to the news of Chinese mining operations along the Christmas Pass Mountains in Mutare, Mayor Coltart bemoaned how Chinese nationals are plundering the country's mineral wealth while at the same time causing serious environmental damage. He condemned the ZANU-PF government for facilitating looting of the country's natural wealth by the Chinese. Former cabinet minister and ZANU-PF official Fortune Chasi openly acknowledged that the country has a weak government under Emerson Mnangagwa. Responding to the outcry by citizens with regards to disastrous Chinese mining operations, Chasi said the problem lies with the country's leadership that grant operating licenses to Chinese nationals even on protected areas. His comment clearly shows that even individuals in ZANU-PF have no confidence in Mnangagwa's government. Meanwhile, opposition official Stephen Sarkozy Chuma has called for citizens to stand up against Chinese plunder of the country's natural resources. He told Citizens Movement Radio that the Chinese are worse than the country's former colonizers as they are looting the country's wealth without building infrastructure. Chuma also condemned ZANU-PF for failing to walk the talk on value addition. Let's hear him speaking.
Yes, clearly the moment calls for every Zimbabwean to stand up against the decimation and plunder of our natural resources by Chinese nationals who are granted the mining permission in Zimbabwe. But we've seen that the Chinese way of mining is leaving a lot of environmental degradation in the countryside. We have seen a situation where even protected areas like Boterekwa, Christmas Pass in Mtare have been ravaged and destroyed by unsustainable mining activities of the Chinese. So, whilst the government of Zimbabwe is watching and standing in akimbo to this nonsense that we are seeing, it is now the duty of every Zimbabwean to question the government with regards to why they are standing in akimbo and not doing anything to block the decimation of our natural resources by the Chinese. We cannot allow this plunder to go on whilst pretending that everything is normal. We know that no Zimbabwean will go to China and you'll be granted a mining permit there because they take their resources with importance. They protect their resources. But it is very unfortunate that here in Zimbabwe, we let these people go away with the environmental damage that we are witnessing. So in this regard, it's clear that the Chinese, they have nothing to offer besides propaganda that they are all weather friends. Because all weather friends who are genuine knows that we have future generations that will come and inhabit this land that we call Zimbabwe today. So we need to protect its mineral resources. We need to protect its vegetation, flora and fauna so that the next generation can also enjoy these natural resources.
Renowned economist Eddie Cross, who is also an advisor to Emerson Mnangagwa, has expressed shock at the level of corruption inside Mnangagwa's government. Cross said oligarchs linked to Mnangagwa are running criminal enterprises. Opposition official Eric Gono told Citizen Movement Radio that Cross is simply confirming what the opposition have been saying all along. He said the reluctance by Emerson Mnangagwa's government to investigate cartels linked to corruption is a clear indication that he is involved with their activities. Gono said,
former opposition spy and Mr. Mnangagwa's advisor, Mr. Ed Cross, has echoed the sentiments by many people that there is unprecedented levels of corruption in the Mnangagwa administration. We even saw last week one ZANU-PF legislator who also echoed the same sentiments of corruption, especially in the Ministry of Finance. We are shocked to see that there are people in this country who hold so much huge amounts of cash in their houses that they are able to gift, and we wonder how does this not get investigated when it's clearly violation of RBZ regulations, amongst many other things. We know that there are many people who are aligned to the leader of this country who have unexplained wealth, but they are not investigated, which is a clear sign that at the center of the activities of these people is in fact the man himself, the president. So it's a big problem, but the people of Zimbabwe now have gotten to a point where the suffering is just too much and the comfort is too much for those few. I think that at a certain point, logic will take precedence and the people of Zimbabwe will stand up and question these things so that this country moves forward. We are not going to move forward in a country where the executive is busy splashing billions of dollars of taxpayers' money, while the taxpayers themselves are not receiving the very basic of services.
Back to our top story, citizens in Mashonaland and Sendero have said they are pinning their hopes for genuine change only on Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Speaking in an interview with the Citizens Movement Radio, a senior opposition in the province, Sam Gondongwe, said citizens in rural areas are fed up with ZANU-PF. Let's hear Gondongwe and another citizen speaking.
We have so much confidence in President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and whatever ZANU-PF says to distract our attention, we are not going to be moved or swayed by words, but because our president has assured us that his hands is on deck and his side is focused on the main agenda of liberating the citizens of Zimbabwe and of bringing the real change that we have all wanted for more than 40 years now. And I'm happy that the president has squashed the rumors and the blackmailing that was being spread by these Mongas, the ZANU people, Varakashi, and those that want to see us suffer, yet they engage in corruption activities and they loot the coffers of this nation under our nose. We are happy that the president is coming, and he has hinted that very soon the new will be effective, kicking and showing the way. Life will be back for us, and will be running in this nation to make sure that come election 2028, all people will know where to put the X for the real change that we have been waiting for. We are excited, and we are 100% behind President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and nothing is going to change that stance for us here in my central province. And every person and in every constituency, they are waiting just for the word, for the day that the president is going to call for us to gather, so that he tells us the way forward from where we are. But right now we are not stopping. We are preaching the word for the new. We are preaching that the president is coming. For those who want to wait for him until he comes, let them wait. But for those who want to preach and unite people in their localities, let them proceed and do that. For we cannot wait for the rains, but we prepare the land, so that when the rains come, the land is already prepared. So by preparing the land, we are moving around, making sure that all people are alert to the coming of the new. Thank you so much. I want to thank the president for assuring us that he is focused on the new that is coming. Thank you so much.
Maswera sei mhuri yeZimbabwe kumatimana enyika yese. Inoda kutaura kuti panyaya yemashoko aadvocate Nelson Chamisa vachiramba urunyerekupi, izvi zvinogara zvichiitwa neZANU-PF. Mukatarisa ZANU-PF inototya, ndiye munhu wani wainogara wachitya waNelson Chamisa, ndiye munhu wani asara anototyiwa nebato reZANU-PF, because vanoziva kuti ndiye munhu anodiwa nevanhu vemuZimbabwe, uyezve ndiye munhu anovhoterwa. Izvo zvakangofoma endi bato muchaona kuti bato iroro vanhu vese vanenge vakutoritsigira. Ndosaka muchiona vanhu veZANU-PF vanoedza neposi pavanogona kuti vasvibise zita rawaChamisa. Mukatarisa panguva yemakampenzi emaelection payapa, ZANU-PF inotokampena ichitotaura kuti Chamisa haachaite zvepolitics, Chamisa haasisiko. Mukaenda kune dzimwe nzvimbo ukaita kuna Uzumba nekudzimwe nzvimbo kunana Gokwe kunana Chiredzi kuyeku, unotonzi aChamisa haako, hakuna chinhu chinonzi Chamisa. Campaign strategy yeZANU-PF iyoyo yoda kuti vasvibise zita rawaChamisa, kana kuti vavharidzire vanhu kuti vanhu vasazive kuti vaChamisa variko. But isusu tinotera pamasocial medias, tinotera maplatform akasiyana, tinotoziva kuti vaChamisa varimo, ende tinotoziva kuti vaChamisa vachauya nebato rakasimba richazopidigura futi ZANU-PF iyoyo. Saka izvo zvekuti anzi vaChamisa chichi, isusu tisi totoziva vagari vemuZimbabwe kuti vaChamisa vachauya kuzotisunungura isusu. Saka istrategy yeZANU-PF iyi inoshandiswa, vanogara vachitoishandisa kunzvimbo dzavo, kumastrongholds avo, kuti Chamisa haako, Chamisa haachaite zvepolitics, Chamisa haachi. Mukatoenda kune dzimwe nzvimbo mukati vaChamisa munoziva kuti Chamisa haachisiko, hatitombomuzive, muzvona. Saka istrategy yeZANU-PF yavanoshandisa, because vanoziva kuti vaChamisa ndiye munhu anokwanisa kupidigura ZANU-PF iye, ndiye munhu anokwanisa kuuya nestrategy chaiyo yakasimba yekuti ZANU-PF haimire. Tatenda.
Meanwhile, youth have been urged to emulate young people of the colonial era who rose against colonial rule. This was said by opposition youth leader in Masvingo province. Kelvin Tinaro urged young people to stop Emerson Mnangagwa's 2030 agenda. Tinaro also said youth have a duty to speak out against corruption as it affects their lives. Tinaro said,
Ndinokutendai mutoro wenhau. Hongu ndiri kukurudzira vechidiki nyika yese yeZimbabwe, every young citizen by birth whether you are in Zimbabwe or out or you are in diaspora. Now I'm sending a wave, I'm sending a message to every young people. Let's raise, let's demonstrate our power as young people. Tarisai muone zviri kuitwa kune dzimwe nyika. Vechidiki vari kusimuka vachidemonstrate their rights, vachidemonstrate their power against government inenge yakuita madhisinyongoro. Saka now ndiri kuti wechidiki wese ngatisimuke, ngatiratidze power kuti tine simba. ZANU-PF haina simba than POV, than mob. Let's raise as young people. Ngatiratidze kuti tine chido nenyika yedu. Ngatisabvuma kutengwa nechikeni. Tarisai, ZANU-PF ndo iri kuleader mumadrugs, mulooting, everywhere. Vari kuuya nemataxes, mahigh taxes. Hatina mabasa. Mnangagwa promised us more than 2 million jobs in 2018. But now tiri kuona maindustries ari kuvhara, macompanies ari kuvhara, mamwe macompany aiva munomu ari kutoterminata because maconditions avari kupiwa acho are very hard. So let's raise, let's demonstrate our power as young people. Hatichadi kutongwa nezvigananda. Zvigananda ndo zvatakuramba. Zvigananda ndo zvatakuramba. Now tiri kunatsokuona kuti havana chido nevechidiki, havana chido nemayouth, havana chido nenyika yavo, but they are there for looting only. If you check my policies, unatsokuona kuti right now vari kutaura kuti a president must have 40 years and above, but vari kuda kuti isusu vechidiki from 18 years we should vote for them munhu ane 85 years. But vari kuramba kuti inini ndine 25 years ndiconteste kuita president. Why? So unonatsokuona kuti hakuna kwatiri kuenda. Let's raise my youth. Tarisai muone ZANU-PF yauraya nyika. Vari kuunza maChina ari kuondonga, ari kusiyavhura makomba everywhere. Havasi kusiyavhura tikava. Now they are shouting 2030. Vari kuda kuitei 20. Hapana chiri kuitwa chekuti tingavaindosa kuti vasvike 2030. 2028 yatoita kure ema-elections. 2025, I'm sending a wave. We are going to create a very strong movement yemayouth. Tajamuka inosara pasi pane movement iri kuuya. Hatichadi zvekujairirwa. Every district, we are sending a wave. We are sending a message to you. Every young people, let's raise, let's demonstrate our power. Tava kuzogara mumarodzi, tava kuzogara mumastreets. Why? ZANU-PF haisi kuita zvido zvevanhu. ZANU-PF yakuita. Let's raise my youth. Let's have a spirit of mbuya nehanda and sekuru kaguri. Sandizvo zvawakafira wana mbuya nehanda nana sekuru. Let's have, their spirit must be in our souls. Now we check, tinoona kuti pakanzi paitwa nyaya dzemadrugs, unonatsoona ZANU-PF ndo yakalida, kansela weZANU-PF ndiye ari kuita madeals emadrugs. Paborder panenge pane yavanoti feriti, pane home affairs, pane chi, but unonatsoona madrugs anopinda ozonobatwa akumbare. Akabva kupi? Apinda nepaborder. WeZANU-PF adhiza MP angoenda anotaura kuti siyai zvipinde nezvangu, uyu Chadzamira anoenda unotaura siyai zvipinde nezvangu, uyu Tungwarara anoti. Saka tiri kunatsokuona kuti hakuna kwatiri kuenda. Vanhu vari kutungamirira nyika ino haina president, haina baba nyika ino so far. My youth ngatisimuke. Tikasadaro nyika yedu yakuparara. Our next generation. Hapana. So ndiri kuti mwana wese wechidiki ngaasimuke. Ngatiratidze kuti tine chido, tine spirit yekurwira nyika yedu, yekusunungura nyika yedu. Zvakangoita pakutanga ndo zvatakuda kuita. Vakaratidza kuti election haishandi. From 1980 up to now chava chada kuita, chavari kuramba vachiti tinoda kukuita chi, chavakatadza kuita from 1980 up to 2025. So now we are going to take action against them, against their regime. They rigged elections in 2018, they rigged elections in 2023, and from 1999 pakafomo MDC vaingoriga. So now we are going to take action isiri ema elections. And the NC God is in it. Let's rise. Let's go against ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF must go. As I am talking, as we are talking, as all young people of Zimbabwe, let's liberate our country. Let's have freedom. Constitution must be respected. I thank you.
The 3 children found dead in a car boot in Kwazana Extension last Friday were buried today in Masvingo and Uzumba. Anenyasha and Anopaishe Muzanago were laid to rest in Janyure village, Masvingo, where Raymond Matsiwe was buried in Uzumba. Police say forensic results determining the cause of death will be released soon, and investigations into how the children ended up in the car boot are ongoing. Let's take a look at our sports news. Former Premier Soccer League stars Ruben Muhlanga and Abbas Amidu were yesterday arrested for drug trafficking. The duo were caught in possession of 750 kilograms of cannabis, mbanje, worth an estimated street value of $75,000 United States dollars. Muhlanga is a former Dynamos defender, while Amidu used to turn out for Caps United. The senior men's national soccer team, the Warriors, are in Durban, South Africa for their final 2 World Cup qualifiers. Zimbabwe hosts South Africa on Friday at Moses Mabhida Stadium before taking on Lesotho. Warriors fan Jefferson Chitando said, "It is embarrassing that Zimbabwe is playing host to South Africa in their own country." He condemned the ZANU-PF government for failing to renovate the national stadium to host international matches. Chitando said,
"It's real embarrassing, humiliating that Zimbabwe national team is going to host South Africa in South Africa. We have traded our sovereignty due to our poor management, to our corruption, looting of resources, that we have failed to even renovate the National Sports Stadium for more than 5 years since Mnangagwa was in power or more. He has failed to renovate the National Sports Stadium. We also, the National Sports Stadium, deteriorating, and reports are there since 2013, but the government has been sitting on this until we are now embarrassed to the bone. It's not surprising that what we are seeing is the same treatment which Zimbabweans are getting, that they are being chased, they are failing to find the jobs in this country because of maladministration, corruption, and total failure, incapacitation of this government, that our children are finding employment in the neighboring countries, in the diaspora, because we are failing to make sure that our industries are functional. So this government is an embarrassment. This government is a mess. This government is totally failed. We need new leaders.
To conclude our Citizens Movement radio news, here are the headlines once more. President Chamisa confirms he has not left politics. Mulilo demands action against corruption and fair budget for women. Water meters another conduit for Ganandas to loot, says human rights defender. That's all for tonight's news bulletin. Thank you for listening to CMR. Join us tomorrow for more news and updates. Until then, good night and stay informed.